It is 8:30 local time for us to review the entertainment world before we roll into the weekend. Actually, the weekend officially begins now. And to have that conversation, I'll start with introducing the panel. From my extreme left, we have Adhiambo Odera, who is a pop culture specialist. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mike.
Stevens Mwendo, editor with The Pulse.
Pleasure.
And last but not least, we have Quinta, who's an editor and writer with the Standard Group. Thank you for joining us. So, entertainment world, there's been a lot happening, but let's start. Adhiambo, I saw you are hot on the heels following up with the Oscar awards that were taking place.
Most definitely, Mike. Oscars.
Many Kenyans were watching and waiting for Watuwetu.
What?
To appear, Watuwetu.
Our people.
Our people. You know Watuwetu in Kenya,
all of them
can take a very political turn, but this particular one was not political. No. It was to do with a film made in Kenya. But anyway, an update of the Oscars.
Yes. The Oscars, of course, is the creme de la creme of entertainment in Hollywood. And we were, holding our breath for our little, it was a short film, just 22 minutes, but it was important that they got to go there.
The nomination.
The nomination,
that was really
yes, that was good enough. And the fact that we actually got them there, and physically, they were really looking good. They were almost looking like Queen. The dress, the dress that the actress wore was...
well, you never know. Queen maybe is making her way to the Oscars for next year. So there you go. But anyway, carry on.
Yes, yeah. So that was important enough. And this year, there were several things to look out for in the Oscars. And when it did happen, even though we did not win, we represented. However, that for the first time, Lupita was a presenter of the Oscars, and that is one thing that is always very, very important.
The host is always, the presenters are normally somebody to look out for.
Yes, to look out for. And she slayed it also on the red carpet, wearing, doing her very best with Versace. She always comes out and does Versace. But other than that, there were several things that were interesting. Blackness was, of course, going to be at the center of this all. And yes, it did not disappoint because Jordan Peele got the best original screenplay for Get Out, and that is the first black American first original screenplay. So that was a great thing. Again, another thing was that Daniela Verga was the first transgender actress or actor. I don't know, we are always asking whether it's she.
Where you get confused, he or she. She.
Represented a word. So that was also interesting. But it was also laughable. You remember last year, we were laughing here with you when the envelope gate situation happened with La La Land.
Oh, yes, yes.
And the
when
Oscars,
they opened the wrong envelope.
Yes, and the Oscars, is all their glory, decided to bring the same people to present the same best picture this time as well. So those were moments that were very interesting, and I'm sure Stevens will tell you he has that again inside the Pulse, so he can now pick it up from there. But overall, it was fantastic.
It was nice.
Yes.
Stevens, I know, and don't give it out all from what's in the Pulse, but I've seen there's a bit, and there was a lot of glitz and glamour.
Yes.
As expected.
And as she says, I mean, it's about bringing it closer home. Oscar has always been the biggest, night of the films, and I think it's the epitome of all that. And for us, our past takes it as she talks about just bringing it closer home. And you have our guys there, and we know it's about the red carpet. We know it's about who wins. So those two things run parallel. And we have these beautiful guys from Kenya just gracing the red carpet. And that's what we're trying to elaborate today. If you go to page 4, you can see all that.
There's a number of girls there who... Yeah.
I mean, you're having two Kenyans there, red carpet, and well glorified. And above all, we get to talk to Naomi, the young designer who designed all this. And she says she did this in 3 days.
Wow.
I mean, she did this in 3 days. They had an argument, but everybody was interested to dress these guys for the Oscars. And finally, she was told, do it in 3 days. And she fixed that dress in 3 days. A gown, she calls it, and all that. Fantastic. And somebody would be asking, so how much is it worth, that gown that made it to the red carpet? It's for them to pick the parts and just find out.
All right, find out. And Quinta, this would be a nice place to come in, especially given that today you're slaying fashion-wise. And I mean, for us guys, maybe apart from Stevens, who probably knows a bit of this, for me, the dresses...
I don't even know what you call this.
I know, with all these sleeves all over the place. So just give us your thoughts on the dress code for the Oscars.
Okay, first of all, you need to tell the stage director that next time I come in this outfit, they need to present.
You need a chair with
seats for my sleeves. Yes.
All right.
The sleeves have a life of their
anyway, talking about the Oscars, and of course, apart from the fact that Lupita and Danai Gurira, her name is...
Her name is
a tongue twister, yes.
In action.
Yes, I mean, they slayed. They were all looking lovely. But for me, Watu Wote was nominated, but as a German film.
With a Kenyan cast.
Yes.
With a Kenyan cast.
German, and even if they won, it would have been the German directors who would have taken home the...
And that's a debate that's been going on. That,
yes.
And I think we hear it sometimes.
Yes. So
I mean, is it Kenyan? Is it German?
Yeah, is it German? Is it ours? It is actually German. It's not ours. So, we are very proud that the film was featuring Kenyan actors and actresses. It was shot here.
Kenya.
Yes, it was shot here. But the producers are Germans. And the film was...
So it would have actually been won by Germans.
Of course, Germans. Yes, it was
Would have
nominated.
taken it still, because they keep on saying Lupita Mexican, Lupita Kenyan, so
But the producers are Germans.
No, but you see, I think the most serious issue here, Stevens, is the fact that why can't we do this,
Yes.
ourselves
My
and win
point,
the Oscars?
exactly.
Because evidently the talent is there. So there's something, that needs to be done in that particular area.
Yes, I think, and also when you look at film industry in general, not just in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Tanzania, I mean, we really need an Oscar. That is the bottom line.
In order for us not to feel too bad about whether a Kenyan or a Mexican or anybody else is doing it, Lupita, as it were, and I think that's our best export in terms of film, is now again doing 2 more movies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the one by Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, and which she's going to play the mother. I can't wait to see how that will happen. And then she's also teaming up with Viola Davis for another all-girl cast, which of course will be hitting it next year. But more than that, we know she has really slayed it at the Black Panther. So I think we need to all just plan now how we are literally at the Oscars next year.
Yes, no,
because I'm sure
we need more Lupitas. I mean, this is just a challenge I'm throwing at.
And I think that
they're there.
And our challenge doesn't really start by us looking at the Oscars. If you ask me, it's about building the local industry, film industry, from where we are, in terms of, do we have the right structures? Do we have, the right policies to make movies in this country? Yes, the momentum is there. We have likes of Riverwood coming up and all those other awards. I think for us, it's even just to organize ourselves as Kenyan film industry and start it from here. The competition starts from here. It's not just looking at, let me make it to the Oscars somehow through a German producer or whatever it is. But let's start it from here. Let's have the competition started from here.
And I guess this is where now we really need to involve government, because one of the areas that we'll find is that filmmaking in Kenya is very expensive and becomes extremely difficult for a local producer to come up with a good quality film. And I think let's give it to Kenyans that they love quality. So you cannot just go and make us some shoddy film and expect that Kenyans will just be uploading and saying,
in their defense, there is a film actually that has done very well at the Barcelona Film Festival. Yeah, so I think when we look at it, perhaps we've also not been listening too much to our own stories, but I think even as ourselves, we are telling our own stories. Even now, this is our own content. So I think as content providers, the space is there, the interest is there. It is really just all of us working together to make it work. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
You want to see more of our own
and just one more thing, Mike. Last week when Komondi was here, when you were putting him on the spot for his naked video.
Yes.
And he made a valid point actually. He said, most of these government officials and people who are in charge of these institutions that are in charge of talent development and all, they are only outspoken when people do negative things. When great things happen, nobody talks about it. Yes.
I mean, for instance, why didn't we have, although I think I did hear the president at one point wishing Watu Wote success, but there should have been more noise.
There should have been more hype, more noise,
more noise. And that would have been a fantastic opportunity to ask the question, why has it been done by a German producer?
Yes.
Don't we have producers who are locally bred Kenyans basically who can do the same thing?
And talking about noise, Mike, and that's the disconnect that we have, that the media would write so much about this film, for example, that the media here would look for these guys so hard and they're not even available here because it's international now, that you'd wait until it's nominated for it to hit our theaters here.
Yes.
I think we need that that kind of synchronization as an industry, that you understand, really, I need the writer, I need the producer, I need whoever it is, the audience itself. We need how to cultivate these guys to the theater ourselves, for them to believe what we're doing.
I'm actually looking forward to the day when we'll be premiering Water in Nairobi, and it is a big deal. Then we move to Kisumu, and it is a big deal.
It's actually here already. It's in the cinema.
They even had to crowdfund for them to make it to Los Angeles. I mean, that was how bad it was.
Yes.
They had to literally look for crowdfunding for them
sponsors.
To get there.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, for sponsors. And all we're saying is that the government really needs to come
to
in
do
and
more.
support a little bit more. But let's wait and see. We have new CSs, and hopefully they will put priority where it belongs. But before we come to the pulse, yesterday was International Women's Day, so happy belated International Women's Day. But I saw a number of messages that were saying right now, really what we're looking for is not Happy Women's Day. We need policy put in place. We need put your money where your mouth is.
Yes, as they say, action without, faith without, what, Mike?
Mike is the pastor. Mike is the pastor.
Did you want that? Did you want the action?
Yes, as in we can't keep saying, you can't wish me Happy Women's Day when institutions and structures are dysfunctional. That is the bottom line. Hey. Happy Women's Day, we are happy.
Can't we just stop and celebrate and say that we have made good milestones?
It's fine. Do we have this pay issue? What do you call it? Gender pay gap, has it been sorted? Do we have, what are the working conditions for women? I mean,
the Me Too
two-thirds
campaign,
gender majority. Can we, when we are celebrating Women's Day, we need to celebrate Women's Day with substance, not words.
Stevens, I don't know if you got requests. For me, everybody was like, they were like, where are my flowers? And I'm like, wait, International Women's Day now again has become one of
trouble
giving
now,
flowers.
because I mean, Feb just got past us.
We've had
it was
Valentine's.
February. Somebody wants flowers. Then now it's March. It's Women's Day. I don't know when the Mother's Day is coming.
Then there's going to be anniversaries.
But yes, as we wish them all that, somebody said, yes, we've all gone to school. Let's battle it out.
Yes, and apparently I also learned that there's International Man's Day, but there's
Nobody
not much noise made about it.
When is it? We will wish
nobody
you. We'll bring
No,
you
it is
a cake.
because it's because
the men themselves don't even know. So,
So then we can
That's
celebrate
what under
it.
the
International Men's Day is, I don't know, it shouldn't be a big deal because you guys, you've always got the upper hand
why would
anyway.
it not be a big deal? It should. The boy child has been promoted. I'll have you know. The boy child is in trouble.
And I like a comment.
Hashtag.
Oh God, no, you didn't.
I like a comment
Cyprian.
from somebody who was actually having a show here, and they said that in 10 years to come, they sympathize with men because things will have turned around. And that got me thinking, yes, we always push in about this, women and their rights and all that. I agree. I mean, I have sisters, I have a mother, and I believe in their rights being pushed for and all that. But I think we should not go to the extremes of that. We look at life in terms of, as we push for all those things, as women, as a very disadvantaged people, without looking at tomorrow, whereby we're also looking at the boy child that we're talking about right now. What will happen to that?
What will happen?
I think we are pushing.
Quinta doesn't agree with you.
I don't agree because we have been
expect,
disadvantaged all along. Time immemorial, even from the Garden of Eden, women have always been disadvantaged. That is why, for me, the conversation of boy child doesn't hold water.
It's not even going to happen. But more than that, Mike, I wanted to say that there's still gains on, especially on entertainment as well, where we really can say that the women in entertainment have used their positions well enough. Because yesterday we were saying press progress. So I think even as we say that maybe over time we haven't gotten the space to be able to push forward, I think we have used the spaces we have, especially in entertainment, to ensure that we can bring in these other things. The Oscars, for example, or even just all the film, the actresses, the actors, the musicians, you know that they have been the ones who have been at the forefront for the Me Too campaign. And that is a space you use because of where you are. So yes, things could be looking not very rosy, but we are doing the best that we can. So I think even as we cry, it is important to celebrate it.
Yes, and for me, I'll still defend the boy child, but let's not get into that now because time will not allow. So let's look at the pulse. What should we look out for, Stevens? We've already seen that we've got the Oscars right there covered, and how Kenya was basically slaying.
Right. I mean, there's a lot, and as we always say, we will not give it away. We just had the list for, the top hip-hop. Cash Kings, whereby Jay-Z again tops.
Yes, of course.
The likes of P. Diddy and all that. And funny enough, most of the money is not coming from their music, it's coming from their brands.
Yes. Wow.
And that's something that I think Kenyan musicians and other artists should also learn, that you as a brand, what do you make out of the space that you have?
Right.
And that's what our cover story is also talking about, whereby you're thinking about these guys, are they making money, are they not making money? And so we try to profile a number of them and see, when you see an artist performing up there, how much are they performing at?
Right.
How much are they worth?
And where really the money is, because one might imagine the money is in making the music, but for some it's, like you've said, in the branding. It's the money that they make out of their brand. So it's important for them to actually also have a brand.
Yes, and keep it happening, which I like that he's talking about rappers, because I just also read inside there something Timmy Tidat has done inside there
Yes.
to do with the brand. Something inside there.
They tend to be precise. And Mike, talking about our artists and all that, where the industry has been so, say, fragmented, in a way that we don't seem to agree on working together. A big event is coming tomorrow.
Yes.
And Sunday at the Carnival. If you go back to down memory lane, and that's what we're talking about page 7.
Page 7.
Artists coming together. Guys who used to be the hit thing in 2000s and all those years, coming together and having a big show. And the crazy thing is that this show is being done by very young people, or not even 25.
Imagine, I was so shocked.
What, and they're already the memory lane artists?
They were babies.
No, I mean, they were like
they were babies
when these people were the big thing, and now it's the Ngoma Festival.
And I don't know, there's something that TBTs do when you go down memory lane, so I'm sure this is going to be a very popular show.
When we're talking to these guys, is they did their research very well. That internationally, guys like TBTs. They like, you like your moments in life.
You want to relive.
Be drawn back. And you go there and you're just thinking, this was me young, and I feel the energy coming back. And with this research, I don't think this show will flop.
All right, find out which show it is. It is in the Pulse, and well, some interesting artists there who are going to be featured. And get yourself a copy of the Standard and the Pulse.
A lot of gossip, juicy ones. Some of them, she was talking about, giving it away for them to grab the Pulse and see what's there.
What was that she was just...
There's something inside.
Something inside.
There's something in there.
Somewhere at a corner.
Timmy and...
oh my goodness, yes, I have seen it, and I'm not telling you what it is. Oh my word. Please get yourself a copy of the Pulse. You need to get it.
Yes.
Let's also look at the Nairobian, and well, it has a headline there that stops you literally. Kidero killed over 70 million.
Yeah, and this is not former Nairobi governor.
Not the former governor of Nairobi.
No. This is a student leader. Like this, there's one property show in KTN that says there's something for everyone. Now, the same thing applies for the Nairobian this week, because we have a bit of everything. Kidero is a victim of circumstance. According to the story, he is a whistleblower, and he had to pay for whistleblowing. And he was actually fighting for the rights. He's a student leader. He was fighting for the rights of students, and someone was not happy about it. But the unfortunate thing is that nobody has been held responsible. He was buried yesterday. It was very emotional. Such a young,
he's a young man, full of potential.
And there's a lot of politics around the burial yesterday.
Yes. I mean, the father was spoken to, and he was not very happy. I mean, who would want to bury their child? And especially when he's performing, he dies. It's like Jesus Christ, when you die for some people's sins, yes, because this was something that he thought something was wrong with the institution, and he brought it out. And he died.
So it became literally like a martyr for that cause. But there you go, it's in the Nairobian. Get yourself a copy, find out what he was whistleblowing about and what the intrigues that surround that. There's also an interesting article.
Yes,
here,
Mike, should we give it?
No, I'm just thinking, why do I want to know that somebody has not been busy for 11 years?
Because it is important.
Why is it important to
because
me?
You need to know
how somebody's private life has been going on for 11 years.
No, there's what do you call that movie? Act like a...
think like a woman, act like a man.
Yes, there's a lady who talks about the 60 day, is it a 90 day?
90 days.
wait.
Yes.
Yes, so this woman actually waited for 11 years. It is important because...
What are we talking about?
Well,
Seems like Nairobi.
they would need to get the Nairobian
You need to
find
get,
out
you need
what,
to get the
what
Nairobian.
happened.
Yes, she's a
and she waited
prophetess.
for
11 years.
11 good years. But
Get
I'm
some
still
good
not
news,
sure
to get
why.
some good
Yeah,
news.
to get good news.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether it came in form of a prophecy
Yes.
or it was physical. But there you go. That's basically what. There's a lot more in the Nairobian, but I'm
there's
told we're
too
out
much.
of time.
There's too much.
And Adhiambo, what are you doing this weekend? Very briefly.
I had said that I'm attending the Goma Festival because it's very, very interesting for me. It's very personal. We are remembering Isa. And if you tweet me at Adhiambo and you tell me why you deserve to go for this, I will actually be able to give you a ticket. So tweet.
Yeah.
And the Adhiambo is with
Goma
a Y.
Festival is where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Stevens?
680 lounge today. I'm inviting you for dinner, lunch, everything. Our new club is opening around Sabaki area, where actually she comes from. Did I just say where you come
I
from?
don't come from Sabaki.
And so yes, it was her birthday last week, and
Yes.
so we want to celebrate it.
Celebrate it in style.
It's my...
So Quinta, there's no need of asking you where you'll be. You've already been.
Yeah,
know where it is.
You already
Yes.
have an invite for your birthday.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Adhiambo Odera, Stevens, and Quinta. And basically, that's what we have of the entertainment world. And it is now just, 10 minutes to 9, time for us to wrap it up and say goodbye. Thank you so much for keeping us company right